Listen up, because what I'm about to share with you isn't just another spiritual deep dive. This is the kind of knowledge that separates the sleepwalkers from the awakened, the kind that makes you question everything you thought you knew about existence itself. Picture this. You're standing at the edge of everything you've ever known. Behind you, the life you've lived. Ahead of you, a light so brilliant it contains the secrets of existence itself. This isn't science fiction. This isn't wishful thinking. This is what the ancient Tibetans mapped out over 1,000 years ago in what might be the most radical instruction manual ever written. They called it the Bardo Thodol. We call it the Tibetan Book of the Dead. But here's the kicker. It's not really about death at all. It's about the ultimate hack for consciousness itself. Here's something that'll make you pause. Modern near-death researchers are finding that ancient Tibetan descriptions match up with what people are reporting when they come back from clinical death. The brilliant light, the spiritual beings, the profound peace. Either we're dealing with the greatest coincidence in human history, or these ancient mystics tapped into something that science is just now catching up to. Think about that. 1,000-year-old text predicting what our most advanced medical equipment is documenting today. That's not just impressive, that's earth-shattering. The Tibetans didn't just map out death, they created a GPS for consciousness itself. They identified 3 major bardos, transition states, that every soul navigates. This is it, the moment your last breath slips away. But here's where it gets wild. According to Tibetan wisdom, this isn't an ending, it's the ultimate doorway. A flash of pure consciousness so brilliant, so all-encompassing, that if you can recognize it as your own true nature, you achieve instant liberation. Game over. No more cycles of birth and death. Ultimate freedom in a single moment. But here's the catch. This opportunity lasts only an instant. Miss it, and you're pulled deeper into the rabbit hole of consciousness. Imagine being surrounded by the most beautiful beings you've ever seen, followed by the most terrifying monsters you could dream. But here's the twist that changes everything. None of these beings are external. They're all projections of your own mind. Every peaceful deity reflects your highest potential. Every wrathful demon embodies what you feared or denied about yourself. This isn't punishment. This is the ultimate mirror, showing you the raw truth of who you are. Can you face your own soul without flinching? Can you recognize these visions as your own mind's creations? That recognition is the key to liberation. Now you're in the realm where karma becomes visible, tangible, pulling you toward your next incarnation. Every thought, every unresolved emotion, every karmic imprint becomes a magnetic force shaping your future existence. You're not just drifting, you're actively creating the blueprint for your rebirth based on everything you've carried within. So, what's the revolutionary truth that changes everything? Here's what'll blow your mind. You don't have to wait until death to experience these bardos. Every day of your life contains these transitions. That moment between sleep and waking, mini-death. Those rare moments of pure creative flow when time disappears. You're touching the bardo of visions. Every life-altering choice you face. Your personal bardo of rebirth. The Tibetan Book of the Dead isn't just a guide for dying. It's a manual for navigating consciousness itself. The Tibetans understood something we've forgotten. Death is the ultimate test of awareness. But it's a test you can prepare for. Through meditation, mindfulness, and spiritual practice, you can train your consciousness to recognize the clear light when the moment comes. Think of it as training for the Olympics of consciousness. Every moment of awareness you cultivate in life is preparing you for that ultimate transition. Every time you practice recognizing the nature of your own mind, you're building the skills needed to achieve liberation when it matters most. Consciousness transference. Picture yourself at the moment of death, consciously directing your awareness toward enlightenment. This isn't about clinging to life, it's about aiming your mind like an arrow toward ultimate freedom. Meditation on impermanence. Starting each day with the awareness that life is precious and fleeting changes everything. It makes every moment more vivid, every choice more intentional. You're training yourself to see life from the perspective of eternity. Tonglen compassion practice. Breathing in the suffering of others, breathing out love and healing. This radical practice dissolves the barriers between self and others, preparing you for the ultimate letting go. Sacred mantras. Ancient sound vibrations that tune your consciousness to higher frequencies. Think of them as divine tuning forks, harmonizing your mind with the rhythms of the universe. This isn't just ancient philosophy, it's practical wisdom for modern life. When you start seeing every transition as a bardo, every challenge as an opportunity for awakening, everything changes. Breakups become bardos of rebirth. Job losses become gateways to transformation. every ending becomes a beginning in disguise. Imagine approaching life's changes with the same presence and awareness that Tibetan monks bring to the moment of death. Imagine living each day as if it were your last, but without the fear, with clarity, purpose, and profound inner peace. Here's where it gets really interesting. Modern neuroscience is starting to validate what Tibetan mystics have known for centuries. Studies of near-death experiences, research into consciousness, exploration of meditation's effects on the brain. It's all pointing toward the same revolutionary conclusion. Consciousness might be far more than we ever imagined. What if these ancient texts weren't just spiritual beliefs, but actual maps of consciousness? What if by studying the Tibetan Book of the Dead, we're not just learning about death, but discovering the deepest mysteries of the mind itself? In traditional Tibetan practice, when someone is dying, a lama sits beside them, reading from the Bardo Thado, guiding the soul through each stage of the afterlife journey. This isn't just comfort, it's navigation. It's like having a GPS for the most important journey you'll ever take. Imagine having that kind of guidance, that level of preparation, that depth of understanding about your own consciousness. Imagine approaching death not as a fearful plunge into the unknown, but as a guided journey toward understanding the deepest nature of your own mind. What if by learning to die consciously we could learn to live more fully? What if by facing our deepest fears about mortality, we could unlock a life of unprecedented meaning and beauty? The Tibetan Book of the Dead isn't just about preparing for death, it's about awakening to life. It's about recognizing that every moment is precious, every breath is sacred, every transition is an opportunity for growth and liberation. As you sit with these ideas, ask yourself, how would your choices change if you truly understood that every moment might be your last? What would happen if you approached each day's challenges as opportunities for spiritual awakening? How might your relationships deepen if you saw every interaction through the lens of impermanence? What would it feel like to live without the fear of death, knowing you're prepared for the ultimate journey? You don't need to wait. You don't need special training or years of meditation. You can start applying this wisdom immediately. Begin each morning with the awareness that today is a gift. End each day reflecting on what you've learned, what you've loved, what you've let go of. See every challenge as a mini bardo, every transition as an opportunity for rebirth. When you feel overwhelmed, remember, these ancient masters faced the same fears, the same uncertainties, the same questions about existence that we face today. The difference is they developed tools, profound practical tools, for navigating consciousness itself. Here's the truth that changes everything. The Tibetan Book of the Dead reveals that life and death aren't opposites, they're dance partners. Death teaches us how to live. Impermanence makes every moment precious. The fear of ending gives life its urgency and beauty. By embracing these teachings, you're not just preparing for some distant future event. You're transforming how you live right now. You're awakening to the extraordinary nature of ordinary existence. You're stepping into a life of unprecedented depth, meaning, and freedom. The choice that defines everything. So here's where we stand. You can continue living as if death is some distant, fearful mystery to be avoided at all costs. Or you can embrace these ancient teachings, convince them to transform, not just how you die, but how you live. You can remain asleep, or you can wake up to the profound nature of your own consciousness. You can stay trapped in fear, or you can step into the freedom that comes from truly understanding the nature of existence itself. The Tibetan masters spent lifetimes preparing for the ultimate journey. They developed these teachings not to make death comfortable, but to make life extraordinary. They understood that by facing our deepest fears about mortality, we unlock our greatest potential for awakening. This is just the beginning. These ancient texts contain layers upon layers of wisdom, practices that can transform not just your understanding of death, but your entire approach to being human. Every teaching, every practice, every insight is designed to help you recognize the extraordinary nature of your own consciousness. The question isn't whether these teachings are true. The question is whether you're ready to find out, whether you're ready to step beyond the comfortable illusions we use to avoid confronting the deeper mysteries of existence. Because once you start this journey, once you begin to see life through the lens of these profound teachings, there's no going back. Your perspective shifts, your priorities change, your entire approach to being human transforms. The ancient Tibetans understood something we're just beginning to rediscover, that consciousness itself is the greatest mystery, the ultimate frontier, the deepest adventure we can ever undertake. And death, far from being the end of that adventure, might just be its most profound chapter. Are you ready to begin? This exploration into the Tibetan Book of the Dead represents just the surface of ancient wisdom that could transform how we understand consciousness, death, and the very nature of existence itself. The teachings continue to reveal new layers of meaning to those ready to dive deeper into the mysteries of human consciousness. So now the question isn't what happens when we die. It's, are you awake enough to know you're alive? If this video cracked open even one layer of your mind, if it stirred a memory of something ancient deep in your soul, then don't let it stop here. Hit that like button, not for the algorithm, but as a signal that you're one of the few ready to walk this path of conscious living and dying. Comment below, what does death mean to you now? Subscribe if you're ready to remember what the world made you forget, because this channel, it's not for the masses, it's for the mystics, the seekers, the ones who know that death is just the doorway, and we're here to master the art of walking through it, fully conscious. Stay awake, stay aware, and above all, don't die asleep.